Hi guys, it's me Terry of the Yarnjoy podcast. Welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to do part 8 of the baby educational ball tutorial series. This is the 7th panel in the ball that we're going to be making because part 1 of course was showing you how to do the panel itself. Okay, so for this tutorial we need one of our completed panels. Okay, we need we're gonna do the bee this time. So we're gonna need yellow, okay, and black, and just a little bit of white. And all these yarns are the same weight yarns that we've been using in these in this series. Okay, I'm using a number 3 weight yarn. I'm also using a 3.0 millimeter hook, and so you just use the same hook that you've been using. You're also going to need a yarn needle and a marker and some stuffing, just a little bit of stuffing. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, okay, so let's get started. So with our yellow we're going to work on the bee, the top or the face of the bee. We're going to take our yarn and we're going to start with a magic circle. You can chain 2 and work in the second chain from the hook if you prefer to do it that way, but I'm going to start with a magic circle. Oops, try that again. Okay, and in this magic circle I'm going to do 6 single crochets. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then I'm going to pull my beginning yarn tail to cinch up my circle. Okay, going on to round 2. We're not going to join our rounds. We're just going to be working in spirals the way we've been doing for all these panels. Going on for round 2, we are going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch around. Okay, so going right into our first single crochet, we're going to do 1 and 2 stitches in each single crochet all the way around. So I'm going to take my marker and place my marker in the first stitch of those 2 that I just made. Okay, that marks the beginning of our round. Now I'm going to continue on doing 2 single crochets in each stitch all the way around, and I will meet you back when I get to the marker. Okay, so I finished round 2, and at the end of round 2 you should have 12 single crochets all the way around your circle. Okay, so now I'm going to remove my marker, and going on to round 3 we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2. Okay, we're going to replace our marker and put it in the first of those 2 stitches that we just made to mark the beginning of our round. Okay, so we did 2 single crochets in that first stitch. Now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So we're going to repeat that sequence all the way around, and I will meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, so I just got to the end of round 3. I got back to the marker, and so at the end of round 3 you should have 18 stitches all the way around your circle. Okay, removing our marker and going on to round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, so in the first stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. We're going to place our marker in the first of those 2 single crochets that we made. Okay, so we did 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, in the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then you're going to repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, so I got back to the marker, and so at the end of this round, which is round 4, at the end of this round you should have 24 stitches all the way around your circle. Okay, going on to round 5, I'm going to take my marker out, and on round 5 it says 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches this time. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 and 2, put our marker in the first single crochet, the first of those 2 that we just made. Okay, so we did 2 in the first stitch, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to repeat that all the way around. 2 single crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And so I'm going to repeat that around. I'll meet you when I get to the marker. Okay, so I just completed round 5, and at the end of round 5 you should have 30 stitches all the way around. Okay, removing our marker and going on to round 6. Round 6 we're going to have 2 single crochets in the next stitch and then 1 single crochet each in the next 4 stitches. So in the first stitch we need to do 2 single crochets, so 1 and 2. And then put our marker in the first of those 2 stitches, and then the next 4 stitches we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then repeat that sequence all the way around. 2 single crochets in the first stitch and then 1 single crochet each in the next 4 stitches, and repeat that all the way around, and I will meet you when we get back to the marker. Okay, so I just got back to the beginning of the round. So at the end of round 6 you should have 36 stitches all the way around your circle. Okay, so for rounds 7 and 8 we're going to do 2 rounds of just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we will not change the stitch count. At the end of each round you will still have 36 stitches all the way around. We're just going to do 2 rounds like that. Okay, just 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So remove our marker, put our first stitch in there, and then put our marker back, and that marks the first of that round. Okay, and then we're going to do that. Put 1 single crochet all the way around, and then we'll move our marker again, and then 1 single crochet all the way around. So 2 rounds, okay? And I'll meet you when I get finished with that. Okay, so I just got finished with round 8. You should still have 36 stitches all the way around your circle. Now we're going to add our black stripe around the bee's body. So we're going to take our marker out, and then we're going to join on our I don't want to cut our yellow right yet, because after we do 1 stripe of black we have to do 1 following stripe of yellow. And so I'm going to just insert my hook like I would do a slip stitch, like I'm going to fasten off. I insert the hook into the next stitch of my round, but I drop my yellow yarn. I take my black yarn, okay? Let me put this paper on here so then maybe you can see what I'm doing here, since I'm using black. Okay, take the black yarn and just hook it onto your hook and draw up a loop, okay, like that, and then draw that through that loop of the yellow that was on your hook already to finish up the slip stitch, okay, and then chain 1 to lock it into place, okay. And then going on to round 9, we're just going to do 1 single crochet all the way around, and so we'll still have 36 stitches in this round, okay. So we need to go ahead and do start with a single crochet into that stitch that we just joined into, okay. That is going to count as our first stitch of that round. So we can go ahead and put our marker into that first stitch, okay. And now we're going to just leave the yellow dangling in the back, and I'm just going to do 1 single crochet all the way around, okay. And I'll meet you when I get back to the marker. Okay, so I got to the end of the round and I still have 36 stitches all the way around my circle, and now I'm going to change. I did the one stripe of the black, and so now I'm going to change back to my yellow, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to remove my marker. I'm going to put my hook into the first stitch of the round where the marker was, and it's going to act like it's going to be like a slip stitch, but instead of drawing my black yarn up through it to make the slip stitch, I'm going to reconnect or pick up my yellow strand that was hanging from the back and pull that through and through the hook on my loop on my hook to complete the slip stitch, okay? And then now chain one to lock it into place. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cut my black yarn. It doesn't have to be a long tail or anything. And so we're done with the black yarn on the main part of the bee. Now going on to our final round for the bee's body, we're just going to continue with the yellow, and we're going to put one stitch in each stitch all the way around, still having 36 stitches around our circle. So go ahead and remember you need to put your first single crochet into that first stitch that we slip stitched into, and then one single crochet in each stitch all the way around, and I will meet you when we get back. I get back to the beginning. Okay, so I finished this last round, and this was round 10, and I still have 36 stitches all the way around my circle, and now I'm ready to fasten off. And so I'm just going to insert my hook into the first stitch of the round and pull up this stitch of the yellow in using a slip stitch, okay? And then now remember, I do want to leave a tail because this is what I'm going to use to sew the bee onto my panel. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a ring of yarn around my piece so I know I have enough to sew it onto the panel, and then I'm just going to pull my yarn through. Okay, and then that is my body of the bee. Okay, now so going on, we need to make two little wings. And so I'm going to take my white yarn, and it says to do 6 half double crochets into a magic ring, okay? So do a magic ring. You can also chain 2 and work into the first chain from the hook, the second chain from the hook if you want to do that way. Okay, so it says I'm supposed to do 6 half double crochets into the magic ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and now I'm going to pull my tail here to cinch up the circle. Okay, so I cinched up my circle, but I need to do one more thing before finishing it off. I need to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then slip stitch into that magic circle. Okay, slip stitch, okay? And then you can tighten the circle up, and I'm going to fasten off, okay? So I do want to leave a little tail for sewing, not much, and then I'm just going to pull my yarn through to fasten it off. Okay, and now I'm going to take the tail from the beginning where I made my magic ring, and I'm going to weave that into the wing, and so you can't see that. And then this tail I will use to sew onto the body. Okay, so now I need to go ahead and make another one of these, so then I'll have 2 wings. So I'm going to go ahead and make another one just like I made this one, and then I will meet you back after I make that second one. Okay, so I got both of my wings made. They look like kind of like a kidney bean or a crescent shape. And I did weave in my beginning tails, okay, into the back of the wing. Okay, now I'm going to set these aside for now, and let's work on the face of the bee. So I'm going to bring my white sheet back here because I need to work with the black again. And I'm just going to cut a length of black yarn that I can use for the face. Yarn up my needle. And then I'm just going to refer to the picture and stitch on my little face. Okay, so looking at the picture, there's a little smile, and now I'm going to put where I joined, because this is kind of a rough transition between the yarn, so I'm going to make sure I put that at the bottom of my bee, okay? And then locating the beginning round, which is right here, the smile of the bee is going to be going around about half of the beginning round, okay? Just following the stitches. If that makes any sense. Okay, just following that around, kind of doing, I think they call it a back stitch. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my yarn and just tie these the ends together to secure that section down. Okay, now going on to the eyes. Looking at my picture here, it looks like the eyes are created between row 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, between row 4 and 5. So this is row 1, or not row, round. This is round 1, which is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is round 4, and between 4 and 5 is where they put the eyes. They're kind of right up above where the smile ends, maybe just over, just a little bit over. Okay, and then just put some stitches in there to create an eye. Okay, so there's my first eye, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the second eye. Looks like they're about 4 stitches apart, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, about right there. Okay, now I'm gonna finish making this second eye, and then I will meet you back when I'm getting ready to sew the body on. Okay, now I'm going to take my panel and I'm going to center the body of my bee over the center of the panel, making sure that the face is not wonky, you know, is lined up with the top of the panel, okay? And then I'm going to yarn up my needle here with the yellow yarn, the tail that I left, and then I'm just going to start stitching this on. You can take some pins and secure it in place if you want to, and then once you get it almost stitched all the way around, then you can add some stuffing in there, okay, to make your bee three-dimensional, so that it won't be hollow in there. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And when I get it almost stitched together, I will come back and then we will put the stuffing in it and then finish up stitching it and then stitch on the wings, okay? So I'll meet you when I get finished doing that. Okay, so I've almost got it all the way closed up or sewed on. So now I'm going to finish up inserting the stuffing that I want, the amount of stuffing I want. Okay, and now I'm going to close it up. Okay, so I'm going to finish closing it up and then I will be back and we will sew the wings on. Okay, so now I'm going to sew the wings on. I went ahead and yarned my needle with the tail of one of my wings. And now the wings are going to fit, just referring to the picture, it looks like they have them attached to the black stripe, that area of your bee, just right up from your eyes, okay, the eyes, okay? And so just sewing them down, but try to get them to where the wings will stand up instead of, you don't want them laying down, you want them to be standing up. And just put some stitches in there, stitching it down. Okay, just like that. And then take your yarn needle and put the yarn, run it in through the body of the bee to fasten off and weave in your ends. And then sew your other wing on. I'm going to be also my wing on, and then I will come back and show you the finished project, okay? Okay, so there is my bee. I've got my wings sewed on, okay? And all I did is when I got finished stitching them on, I felt like they were secure enough. And then I just inserted my hook and ran the yarn ends to the back. And then I just tied the two yarn ends, one for each of the wing. I tied them together in a knot and then trimmed them short, okay? And that's all I did. So that's it. So that's the end of this tutorial number 8 of the baby educational ball. And I hope you have a great day, and we will see you in the next installment, which will be part 9, and it will be actually the 8th panel of the ball. So see you next time, guys. Bye.